You won't believe what's about to happen behind the scenes at Old Trafford. An explosive decision has just emerged from the club's depths and promises to divide the fans, shake the squad's foundations, and reignite the debate about Manchester United's reconstruction. Everything is happening at a critical moment in the pre-season, where every step can be decisive for the success or failure of the new project under Ruben Amorim's command. And what's coming to light now is something that will generate controversy, intense reactions, and discussions in all conversations among passionate fans. If you want to stay on top of everything, subscribe quickly to Manchester United rumours and news and activate the bell. Because what comes next will stir the heart of every Red Devil. Reliable internal sources have revealed a silent, yet extremely strategic, movement behind the scenes at Manchester United. While most of the spotlight is on rivals' movements in the transfer window, Jim Ratcliffe and Ruben Amorim are discreetly working on a change that could redefine the Red Devils' attack. The word inside Carrington is rupture. Rupture with the recent past, rupture with old models of patience and long-term bets. The club wants results. The fans want victories. And the new coaching staff no longer intends to wait for certain players to mature. A bold overhaul is underway, involving even names that, until recently, were considered untouchable. Behind the scenes, the name that echoes most in this whirlwind of decisions is a young, expensive striker who arrived surrounded by expectations recently. He came as a promise of strength, speed, and goals, but throughout the season, he ended up showing inconsistencies that raised a red flag for the new technical team. Despite having moments of brilliance, his overall performance fell short of what the club expected for a striker of his importance. The numbers, although not catastrophic, did not convince Amorim. And now, something that seemed unthinkable is about to materialise. Manchester United already admits behind the scenes that this player could be negotiated this European summer. We are talking about Rasmus Højlund, the Danish striker who arrived at Old Trafford surrounded by expectations and with the weight of being the future number 9. However, his inconsistent performance, coupled with his difficulty in adapting to the tactical style proposed by Ruben Amorim, led to doubts about his permanence. Amorim, an extremely meticulous coach, like strikers who move in a coordinated manner, know how to drop back to build plays, and are lethal inside the box. Højlund, despite his physical effort and strength, has not shown the game reading and tactical refinement necessary to perform this role with excellence. The result? The board is already discussing his possible departure, even knowing that the immediate financial return may not be ideal. The decision is not made impulsively. There is a clear strategy behind every move. Jim Ratcliffe, who has taken an increasingly active role in the club's sporting management, is personally involved in meetings discussing Højlund's future. According to internal sources, the billionaire businessman has made it clear that the new Manchester United needs to be built on players who deliver immediate performance. He doesn't want a squad full of gambles, he wants players ready to compete. And it is in this context that the name that promises to ignite the behind-the-scenes and become the new target of the Red Nation emerges. Ollie Watkins, Aston Villa's top scorer, who is coming off an simply absurd season. Watkins, with an impressive 31 direct goal contributions last season, including accurate finishes and precise assists, not only established himself as one of the most lethal strikers in the Premier League but also caught the attention of analysts and top clubs for his level of consistency and his ability to maintain performance even in adverse scenarios. It is not common to see an offensive player maintain this type of consistency over 54 games, and this is precisely what enchanted Manchester United's new manager, Ruben Amorim. The Portuguese coach, known for his clinical eye and tactical demands, saw in Watkins a fundamental piece to implement his playing philosophy at Old Trafford. Amorim wants a dynamic, unpredictable attack with the ability to create individual imbalances, and the Englishman seems to possess all these qualities in abundance. In closed-door meetings at the Carrington Training Centre, Ruben Amorim reportedly endorsed Watkins' signing without hesitation. According to internal reports, the coach presented detailed reports on the striker's performance, highlighting not only the cold numbers but also less visible aspects to the fans, such as off-the-ball tactical behaviour, space reading, and the ability to drag opposing defenders to open paths for teammates. Amorim, who values collective play but demands protagonism from his attacking players, believes that Watkins can be that differential. The Englishman is not limited to putting the ball in the back of the net. He participates in build-up play, presses high, and knows how to play with his back to goal, which can be vital for midfielders arriving from deep in the new offensive system. Furthermore, one factor weighs heavily in the coaching staff's analysis. Watkins can perform at a high level even when the team around him is not having its best day. This characteristic, which few offensive players can maintain, is considered by Amorim to be an elite differential. The Aston Villa striker has proven on several occasions that he is capable of transforming a seemingly harmless play into a goal-scoring opportunity, whether with an intelligent movement, a quick finish, or a precise assist. This resilience and decision-making ability in high-pressure scenarios are highly valued at a club like Manchester United, where the demands are constant and big games come in succession. Amorim wants reliable names who do not shy away from difficult matches, and Watkins fits this profile perfectly. The board, in turn, shares the same vision and considers Watkins' signing strategic in several ways. In addition to his immediate impact on the field, the player would bring a new leadership profile to the dressing room, something that has been identified as lacking in the current squad. Watkins, although not a veteran, is recognised for his professional attitude, his commitment in training, and his example behind the scenes. He is discreet off the pitch but intense on it, an ideal combination for the new project led by Jim Ratcliffe. More than just a technical reinforcement, Watkins' arrival would be seen as a statement of intent from Manchester United. The club wants to be a protagonist again, not just with media-hype names, but with athletes who represent the new mentality it seeks to establish. Watkins, therefore, symbolises not only the tactical reconstruction but also the cultural reconstruction that Amorim and Ratcliffe want to implement at Old Trafford. Aston Villa, aware of the value it holds in its main striker, is playing intelligently and patiently behind the scenes. Watkins, after his brilliant season, has become a highly valued asset in the international market, and the Birmingham club's board knows this better than anyone. There is no rush to sell him, nor any intention to accept offers below what they consider fair. The estimated market value is around €40 million, but behind-the-scenes information indicates that, with the growing demand for top strikers, this number could inflate rapidly in the coming weeks. Villa, moreover, would be willing to hold on to the player if they don't receive exactly what they expect, or even more. The board's firm stance is understandable. Watkins is a central piece in Unai Emery's project, and losing him without substantial compensation would mean recalculating routes in the middle of the season. For Manchester United, this value, although high, is within the financial scope of a club of its stature, but there is a key point to be resolved first: the squad reorganisation. Amorim has made it clear that he does not intend to work with an inflated group, and that each signing should only occur through a strategic departure. In this context, Rasmus Højlund's name reappears as a decisive piece in the board's puzzle. The sale of the Danish striker would not only open up space in the squad but would also be essential to adjust the wage bill and enable the investment in Watkins without compromising the rest of the movements in the window. It is a question of balance between daring and financial responsibility, something Jim Ratcliffe has emphasised since taking over the club's strategic command. Sources close to the Old Trafford hierarchy indicate that Manchester United has already discreetly begun to sound out the European market for interested parties in Højlund. The board's expectation is that the first concrete movements will happen in early July, especially from the Italian Serie A, where clubs like Juventus and Milan have already shown, on previous occasions, a specific interest in the striker. Højlund's physical profile, combined with his youth and his performance history in Italy, when he played for Atalanta, makes him seen as an asset with room for appreciation. Although no official offer has arrived yet, behind-the-scenes talks are heating up, and Manchester United knows that a good negotiation can be the key to unlocking the entire window strategy. The coaching staff is closely following this development, as time is becoming a critical factor. Amorim has already established that he wants to work with his core squad as early as possible in pre-season, and the uncertainty about Højlund's future represents a significant hindrance to the plans outlined. The club is currently at a turning point. It needs to sell intelligently to buy with conviction. And if there is a target that allows no hesitation, that target is Watkins. The competition is watching, and any delay can be costly. Aston Villa, even willing to negotiate, observes the market carefully, as it knows that other European giants are also looking for a striker with Watkins' profile. Manchester United, therefore, needs to act with precision, and this begins with the definitive resolution of Rasmus Højlund's fate. The pressure of the calendar, which in other times was treated with some flexibility at Old Trafford, has now become a determining factor for every board decision under the new management of Jim Ratcliffe and Ruben Amorim. The new leadership wants results, wants immediate impact, and knows that time is a resource as valuable as money in this transition phase of the club. Amorim, with his meticulous and disciplined approach, has made it clear to everyone in the football department: the team needs to be practically finalised by the start of pre-season. The internal estimate is that at least 90% of the squad will be defined by mid-July, which means that any uncertainty, however small, can compromise the entire construction of the tactical model that the Portuguese intends to implement. Watkins, in this context, is not just a desire. He is a key piece on a board that has already started to move, and whose assembly needs to be completed as quickly as possible. Ruben Amorim's vision for squad building is objective. He wants athletes who understand and execute his philosophy from the very first training session. Technical, physical, and emotional integration must begin in the first sessions at Carrington, and for that, players need to be present, available, and mentally immersed in the project. Watkins, due to his recent experience in the Premier League and the tactical intelligence he has already demonstrated at Aston Villa, would be one of the first to assimilate the model Amorim wants to implement. Therefore, his early arrival is not a luxury but a tactical necessity. Amorim wants to mould the attack around him, something that involves not only positional fit but also understanding with midfielders and understanding the moments of high pressure and defensive recovery. The more time Watkins has with his new teammates, the greater the positive impact on the field. And every day of delay can represent weeks of delay in performance. Internally, Manchester United is already working with two parallel schedules, one focused on squad preparation and the other on advancing negotiations. These two axes need to run in sync so that the club does not miss the season's timing. The uncertainty surrounding Rasmus Højlund's sale is hindering a fundamental part of this process. As long as the Danish striker remains in the squad, not only does the physical and tactical space remain occupied, but the budget for signings also remains blocked. The board knows this and is trying to expedite conversations with interested clubs as much as possible, but the Italian market, despite being interested, tends to be slower and more cautious in the initial phases of transfer windows. Amorim, in turn, observes with attention and, at the same time, with growing concern. His game model is based on rehearsed movements, repeated behaviors, and synchronicity between sectors, and this requires time. Time that, with each week without definition, slips away like sand through fingers. Watkins, for his part, is aware of the Red Devils' interest. Sources close to the player indicate that he would look favourably on a transfer to Old Trafford. Despite his respect and gratitude to Aston Villa, the striker knows that the chance to wear the Manchester United shirt may be unique. The opportunity to play in the Champions League, or at least fight strongly for it, be under the command of a promising coach like Ruben Amorim, and be part of a millionaire project led by Jim Ratcliffe, are attractions that can weigh heavily in the balance. Watkins wants to compete for major titles, and Manchester United wants a top scorer for big moments. The fans, in turn, are beginning to divide. Some argue that Højlund still deserves another season to mature and prove his worth. But there are also those who are impatient, reminding that Manchester United can no longer afford to wait. The Premier League does not forgive mistakes. And a club that aims for titles needs strikers who deliver, who are lethal, who appear in crucial moments. Watkins fits this profile. Højlund, for now, still lives on flashes of brilliance. And this difference can be decisive when it comes to making a decision. Behind the scenes at Carrington, discussions about the negotiation continue at an intense pace. Amorim remains firm in his decisions, but also flexible if the deal does not progress as expected. Still, there is a climate of optimism in the air. The board is confident that Højlund's sale can be finalised by mid-July, allowing the club enough time to sign Watkins before the start of competitions. The planning is meticulous, and those responsible know that the success of this transfer window can define the course of the 2025-2026 season. And what if for some reason the negotiation with Watkins does not advance? Yes, there is a plan B kept under wraps. But the focus at the moment is entirely on the Aston Villa striker. Amorim does not want improvisations. He wants his trusted name from the start. Training sessions are already being designed based on specific movements that fit Watkins' style. The coaching staff works with videos, tactical analyses, and simulations that include the English striker as a central piece. The club is ready to receive him, only the green light from negotiations is missing. Meanwhile, the European football scene remains attentive. Højlund's possible departure would move the market and could trigger a chain of transfers in several leagues. The Italian Serie A, which has long observed the Danish striker, may become the most likely destination. Juventus and Milan are looking for young centre-forwards, and Højlund's name is appealing. Everything will depend, however, on the speed with which these negotiations are conducted. Manchester United does not intend to wait too long, the clock is ticking. The scenario is one of tension, expectation, and great movement. Jim Ratcliffe, Ruben Amorim, the board, and the coaching staff are in total sync to deliver a squad capable of fighting for everything to the fans. And Watkins' arrival could be the great milestone of this transformation. A new number 9, hungry for goals, tactical intelligence, and penalty box presence, who can restore Manchester United's lost prominence. The future is being written now, and every step counts. The fans await with anticipation. The market observes with attention. And the behind-the-scenes at Old Trafford remain in turmoil. Well, Manchester United fan, what did you think of this? Do you think Ollie Watkins is a good reinforcement to wear our red shirt? Comment your opinion. I would love to know what you think. Oh, and stay tuned to the Manchester United Rumours and News channel, because I'm always posting the latest Manchester United news. Subscribe now so you don't miss any updates. Thank you for your attention, and I'll see you in the next video.